What's up, Meta Nerds? This video is all about the T-16 Skyhopper, the airspeeder that Luke used to fly on Tatooine. It was manufactured by Incom Corporation, the same people that made the X-Wing and the ARC-170. The T-16 was made for civilians and was pretty cheap at 14,500 credits new and only 6,500 credits for a used one. For that price, you got an incredibly fast ship that could go 1,200 kilometers per hour or 745 miles per hour, which is actually faster than both the X-Wing and the ARC-170, and was the exact same speed as the TIE Fighter. But despite this speed, the T-16 shouldn't be confused for a starfighter, as it only had a maximum altitude of 300 meters, or 984 feet, which means you'd have a hard time flying over the Eiffel Tower. That being said, it was often used by police and militia groups, who would remove its pneumatic cannon, something like an oversized pellet gun, and replace these with actual laser cannons, heavy laser cannons, or just ion cannons for disabling getaway vehicles. It was 5.2 meters, or 17 feet long, just a little less than the length of the ETA 2 Light Interceptor. And with a height of 10.4 meters, or 34 feet, it was a Jawa taller than an AT-ST. To get this craft off the ground, it had a series of repulsor lifts located in the body, and these large ion engines located towards the rear. Each of these wings acted as airfoils, allowing this already fast ship to be incredibly maneuverable. The simplicity and effectiveness of this design helped to influence the look of the Imperial transports. And although the cockpit view was restricted, it more than made up for this with its array of cameras and holographic displays, which provided all kinds of helpful data for the single pilot that was required to operate the T-16. This was one of the most common ships in the galaxy, and was especially loved by teenagers for its fast speed, excellent handling, and relatively low cost to operate. But he would try out all kinds of maneuvers and use Womp Rats as target practice with its stock pneumatic cannon. Luke claimed that he was the best pilot at his age on Tatooine, and he wanted to compete in races to earn money, something that reminded both Obi-Wan and Uncle Owen of the boy's father. One day, Luke attempted to pass through the treacherous Beggar's Canyon, and though he made it through, he damaged the ship along the way, knocking it out of commission. A bit of a side note, there's actually a really funny line where Uncle Owen tells Luke that he will never be allowed to fly as long as he lives, which ended up being true. After the crash, Obi-Wan tried to hook up Luke with the parts that he needed by convincing the Jawas to drop them off with the boy. But the future Lawnfire realized that Obi-Wan must have been setting this up, and goes to his house to confront the old general, tells him to stay away from Luke, and dumps all the parts onto the floor of the hermit's home. Luke would spend the following years intent on flying one day by going through the Imperial Academy, and would play with his model T-16 when reminiscing on the days when he was training for the big race. Of course, the skills he had earned did not go wasted, and his dream of being a pilot would come true when he sat in the cockpit of the T-65B X-Wing. This iconic ship of the Rebel Alliance was produced by Incom Corporation, the same people that made the Skyhopper, and to save production costs, these ships actually had a lot of the same parts. The shielding, profile, and armament were new, but the controls and overall feel were said to be very similar to the T-16 Luke had flown all those years before. Because the T-16 Skyhopper was so ubiquitous, when the rebellion grew in strength, many of these ships were modified to perform raids on Imperial installations, and some were being modified and used during the time of the New Republic for both fighting the Imperial Remnant and policing cities and spaceports. That's it for its history, but you definitely want to hear these cool facts and behind the scenes stuff. The model Luke plays with was actually a prop miniature that was supposed to be used in the movies, and the out-of-universe reason for why the ship was damaged was so that Luke had to use his land speeder to search for R2, as Lucas really liked the visual effects of this vehicle. In the special edition for Return of the Jedi, they added a T-16 in the sky over Mos Eisley during the celebrations after the destruction of the second Death Star. And in Attack of the Clones, you can see a smaller wing Skyhopper in the garage. But that's it for the T-16 Skyhopper. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to check out our social media, or ways that you can help support this channel, be sure to check out the description down below. If you want to see more, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you get notifications. But more important than all that, remember, if Luke would have went to go pick up those power converters, we might still be under the rule of the Empire. And the Force will be with you, always.